Hey everyone, welcome back to Steve's View. Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive political stories unfolding in the United States right now. One that sits right at the intersection of politics, national security, constitutional law, and the military's chain of command. If you've been following the news over the last few days, you've probably seen headlines about the Pentagon investigating Democratic Senator Mark Kelly, a former Navy captain, along with 5 other Democratic members of Congress, all because they appeared in a short video telling soldiers not to follow illegal orders. On the surface, it sounds simple, almost obvious. Don't obey illegal orders. That's something every American school kid learns in civics class. But the reaction? Absolutely insane. The Pentagon called the video disgraceful, reckless, and false. President Trump accused the lawmakers of inciting insurrection and demanded their arrest. Legal experts are split down the middle. Military scholars say the Pentagon is stepping into legally dangerous territory, and the entire controversy tapped into a much deeper question. Who exactly does the U.S. military swear loyalty to? The president or the Constitution? If that sounds dramatic, buckle up, because today's episode is going to connect every piece of this puzzle. I'm going to walk you through what exactly happened and why Senator Mark Kelly is being investigated, how legal scholars are interpreting this fight, what the U.S. military's own laws say about illegal orders, what active duty service members really think about refusing unlawful commands, and the bigger picture, why this is turning into one of the sharpest political conflicts in America right now. So, let's break this down step by step, because this story is way bigger than most people realize. A few days ago, Senator Mark Kelly, yes, the same Mark Kelly who flew in space, married to Gabby Giffords, and who served as a Navy captain, appeared in a video with 5 other Democratic lawmakers. The group included Senator Alyssa Slotkin, Representative Jason Crow, Representative Goodlander, Representative DeLuzio, Representative Holohan. In the video, they spoke directly to U.S. military personnel and essentially said, "Our laws are clear. You are not obligated to follow illegal orders." They didn't name any president. They didn't point to any specific event. They didn't say which orders they believed were illegal. But the political world went nuclear anyway. Why? Because everyone assumed the lawmakers were indirectly criticizing 1. Trump's past talk about deploying active duty troops inside the U.S., which some legal scholars question under the Posse Comitatus Act. 2. Recent U.S. military strikes on drug trafficking boats in Latin America, which have killed dozens and raised questions about legal authority. So the implication, whether intended or not, was there are things happening right now that might be illegal, and soldiers should refuse those orders. And that's where the firestorm began. Within hours of the video going public, the Pentagon posted a statement on social media saying it was launching an investigation into Senator Kelly. Think about how unprecedented that is. A U.S. senator who already won his military retirement, who is no longer under military command, is being told he could be recalled to active duty, subjected to a court-martial, or face administrative punishment under military law. For what exactly? For quoting existing law. That's the heart of the controversy. The Pentagon argued that retired service members remain subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ, and that the video undermines good order and discipline, a violation under military law. The Pentagon also insisted soldiers are legally obligated to follow presumptively lawful orders, and the video creates confusion in the ranks. But here's the twist. Legal experts say the Pentagon's reasoning is shaky at best. Kelly did not back down. In fact, he issued a bold statement. He said, "If this is meant to intimidate me or any member of Congress from doing our jobs and holding this administration accountable, it won't work." He added, "This country has sacrificed too much to be silenced by bullies who care more about their own power than defending the Constitution." Strong words. Kelly essentially claims the Pentagon's investigation is political, an attempt to scare Congress into silence. And here's where legal experts enter the conversation. Two of the most respected voices in American military law weighed in almost immediately. 1. Mark Nevitt, Emory University. Nevitt is a national security law expert and a former military lawyer. He said, "This investigation raises serious legal and policy concerns," and emphasized, "It's extremely rare to court-martial a retired officer, and when it does happen, it's almost always for crimes committed during active service. It's practically unheard of to punish a retiree for speech." 2. Eugene Fidel, Yale Law School. He's one of the top experts in U.S. military justice. He didn't hold back. He said, "Kelly's statements are 100% accurate reflections of the law. No American citizen should be subjected to such an absurd investigation. So, according to them, Kelly said something legally correct. The Pentagon's investigation is legally questionable, and the entire affair is breaking new ground in a bad way. But the political reaction? That's where this story gets much bigger." Donald Trump's reaction was immediate and volcanic. He accused the lawmakers of inciting rebellion, encouraging military insubordination, attempting to sabotage the chain of command, and he demanded, "Arrest them." This instantly escalated the issue from a legal debate to a full-blown political battle. Now, it's not just what is an illegal order, but who decides whether an order is illegal? And that question goes straight to the heart of American constitutional law. Here's where the conversation gets more interesting. To understand the conflict, you need to know what the U.S. military legally requires of service members. U.S. military personnel swear loyalty to the Constitution, not the President. Their oath explicitly says, "I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States." There is no mention of loyalty to the President. This is deliberate. UCMJ Article 92. Soldiers must obey lawful orders. But military law also says soldiers must refuse unlawful orders. Unlawful orders include commands that violate the Constitution, orders that violate international human rights, orders that violate the Geneva Conventions, orders that involve war crimes, commands to attack civilians, torture prisoners, or commit atrocities. And here's the legal kicker. A soldier who obeys an illegal order can be prosecuted. This principle comes from both U.S. law and international law. So, on paper, Kelly's statement was legally accurate. The Pentagon's interpretation may rely on political context, not legal text. And the real conflict is not about the law, but about who is allowed to say it publicly. Now we get to one of the most fascinating parts of this whole issue. A research team surveyed 818 active-duty U.S. military personnel from June 13 to June 30th of this year. The results reveal a deep internal tension inside the U.S. Armed Forces. Only 9% said they would obey any order unconditionally. That means 91% believe some orders could be illegal or unacceptable. 25% said they are obligated to refuse obviously unconstitutional or criminal commands. 8% mentioned they would reject morally wrong orders. 26% said the clearest illegal commands involve harming civilians. 15% mentioned torture or harming fellow service members. But the most shocking finding came next. 69% said they would obey an order to drop a nuclear bomb on a civilian city, until researchers added one more instruction. They told respondents to reflect on their duty to refuse illegal orders. Then, the percentage plummeted from 69% to 56%. That's a 13-point drop, just by reminding them of the law. This shows service members are torn. The issue is not simple. Even inside the military, confusion exists. Illegal orders are not always easy to identify in real time. And that confusion is exactly why this political fight is so dangerous. The video featuring Kelly and the Democratic lawmakers hit a nerve because it exposes one of the hardest questions in any democracy. When should soldiers disobey their leaders? Authoritarian countries, Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, Imperial Japan, had simple answers: obey the leader, always. Democracies are different. They require civilian control of the military loyalty to the Constitution, a balance between obedience and moral responsibility. But that balance is delicate, and when politics gets heated, like right now in the US, that balance starts to shake. This controversy blew up because Trump sees the video as political sabotage. The Pentagon sees it as a threat to discipline. Legal scholars see it as a threat to constitutional rights. Soldiers themselves are split, and the American public is deeply polarized. But underneath it all is one core issue. What happens if a future president issues controversial, questionable, or highly aggressive military orders? Will the military follow them, resist them, split internally? That's why this story matters. It's not about one video. It's not about one senator. It's about the integrity of American democracy and the military's role in it. Look, this is not a simple issue. In fact, it's one of the most complicated constitutional dilemmas in any democratic society. When is disobedience patriotism? And when is it rebellion? When is obedience loyalty? And when is it blind submission? Every country in the world struggles with this. History is full of examples of military officers who were punished for following orders, and others who were punished for not following them. And as we've seen, even U.S. service members don't agree on the line. But one thing is clear: this debate is far from over. As the Pentagon continues its investigation, as legal scholars weigh in, as political leaders respond, and as the 2025 to 2026 political environment heats up, this question is going to keep coming back. Who does the American military serve? The president or the Constitution? And who gets to decide what counts as an illegal order? That's the real conflict, and it's one that could shape American politics for years to come. If you found this breakdown helpful, insightful, or eye-opening, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We'll continue following this story closely because it's evolving fast and it has massive implications for American democracy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.